Hello and welcome to Some of My Friends Read Comics. We've got Vince.
I'm sorry to say you probably won't come across too many poops and farts.
We've got Chris.
It's me, Chris Pratt Mario.
And I'm Kia. Hi, welcome to the show. I feel like this show is instantly off the rails. This is going to be a peculiar one. So we are reading the Super Mario Manga Mania, which is a best of collection of the 30-year-old Super Mario manga series that got translated to English for the very first time ever in 2020. Okay? Sounds innocent enough. Oh boy. And then we've got, of course, we're continuing our long read of Knightfall. We are on Batman number 493. What part is this? Chapter 3 right now?
Chapter 3, but our fourth part, yeah.
That's true, because we did that special Bane issue as well,
Yes.
right? And so we'll get to that at the end of the show, but yeah, let's focus on Super Mario Manga Mania here. So first off, I think this is the very first time that a member of our panel has not actually read the comic for the show, and we're not gonna make him feel bad. But Chris was unable to obtain a copy, which is very reasonable because this thing just is not available digitally anywhere. We tried to pirate it, look for scans.
Well,
Nope.
It's not available physically anywhere.
Well, it's very hard to find physically because it's just one of those things that doesn't have much demand. So we weren't able to get a copy in time.
Yeah, it's an all ages manga, so it's like your local Books A Million probably has a copy.
Maybe.
But yeah, I go to the Barnes and Noble in Sugarland, Texas, which is like 30 miles from me.
Boogerland.
They've got a copy. But that's the closest Barnes and Nobles that I could even go to. And my local comic book store, I was like, have you heard of this? Do you have it? And they were like, yes, we've heard of it. No, we don't have it.
It's wild. Like it's not been followed up on at all. Considering like there's a Kirby manga that Viz Media also published around the same time, and they're like on 5 volumes already, but no follow up on the Mario. Nobody wants Super Mario Kun.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't blame him, to be honest. I mean, spoilers. I didn't like this, and I told Chris, like, honestly, don't try too hard to find this thing. And part of me feels bad because this is like a podcast book club kind of thing. I wonder, like, we don't have much of a social media presence, to be honest, or anything like that. But I am genuinely wondering how many people went out and like found a copy of this thing and read it with us,
Right.
because it's like it's bizarre.
They
to
bought
me.
all the copies in Boogerland.
That's why Chris couldn't get it. Wow. That's why Chris shouldn't have waited so long. Tisk tisk. We're going to invite, if you happen to buy the copy of the Super Mario Manga Mania that I put a golden ticket in, then you already know that you're the winner and you're going to be replacing Chris on the podcast from now on. Good. Congratulations.
Wow.
Not
We're
just
all
being
gonna learn a
allowed to
lesson on
tour
that
our
episode.
studio, but replacing Chris. Wow.
Yes. Yeah. We're completely replacing him. That's it. That's just how it goes. Sorry. Not like a one episode thing either. It's permanent.
You really are the Chris Pratt of these Marios.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like there's been one other episode that I read, but like read in like the loosest terms of like 5 minutes before. I was like, oh yeah, I remember I've read this before.
Right.
mhm.
But I
That
was like,
happens sometimes.
We,
That's okay.
we had a lock and key that was missing pages.
oh yes.
Oh,
yeah.
that's true. I was missing pages. Yeah.
Being like, why didn't they ever show this? I'm like, they had a big fight.
I never saw it. All right. So let's just, but honestly, before we even get into it, I gotta say, I feel like if there are any manga fans listening out there, I feel like we've done manga dirty on this show. Like, not that, we've read Zelda, which was fine, but probably not indicative of the genre as a whole,
Right.
And then this is, yeah, let's get to it.
So we should read like the Persona manga next, right? That'll help, right?
No, we
That's
need
gonna-
to do something that's not a video. Honestly,
like Naruto. I don't even know what's cool. One Piece.
Naruto or One Piece would not be bad ideas, but I feel like whatever we do, it might need to be like a long read, because I think a lot of this stuff is so long form that it's hard to get it in like a little thing. I don't know. We've still got a ways to go on our Knightfall long read, but we'll figure it out.
Right.
Here.
Maybe we can also have a guest. If you find one of the mangas that we put out there with gold tickets, it could be any
It
manga.
could be you. Yeah, there's 3 gold tickets out there, and whichever one you find, you replace a member of the show until we're all done.
Kia worked at a Borders from them until then. He put 3 golden tickets in there at least 5 years ago, 10 years ago, probably now.
And those books are all gone because no, they shut down over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, we really got to get to the story here.
So I think I did do some research on Super Mario Kun, because I think this book is more interesting in history than it is as a book.
Yeah.
So this book has been running since 1990 as a monthly strip in Koro Koro Comic, which is a Japanese like collection of comics released monthly for elementary school age children, which is younger than like Shonen Jump, which I think is more like teenagers, which is where like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z came out of. But this is Koro Koro, and this has been running since 1990. It's a 750-page comic monthly, which looks awesome on a shelf, by the way, just like how thick it is. But like Mario came out of there's been a Mario strip running in here. There was a Donkey Kong Country strip for a few years, a Wario strip. There's a Splatoon one, if you've seen the Splatoon manga at your bookstore. The Pokemon Adventures comic, which Bruce has quite a bit of, has been running since 1996. Koro Koro was also the only way you could order Pokemon Blue in Japan. In 1996, Pokemon did not go too off, but we are doing a video game episode. Pokemon came out as red and green, and then I think green had some bugs, and so there was a bug fixed version, Pokemon Blue, and the only way to get that in Japan was by ordering through Koro Koro magazine between like September 96 and December 96. And so, but you know, they've been running that. There's been a Kirby manga that's been going on for forever, but then this strip by Yukio Sawada, Super Mario Kun, has been running, and it's followed most of the games. I noticed some like omissions. Currently, it's in volume 59 right now in Japanese collected editions. It's like the second or third volume of Paper Mario: The Origami King. And they've done most of the Paper Mario games, and like they've got like side stories with like Luigi's Mansion. I can't tell if they actually do stories around like the spin-offs like Mario Tennis, or if it's just like a 4-coma, like a panel comic. You know how we have like the daily strips in the newspaper. Yeah. You know, I can't tell if it's just that or if it's like more involved, like actual storytelling, like it tries to weave the Mario golf.
I cannot imagine there is any more storytelling to it based on what we read. I feel like
even these are pretty loose. Like I'm like, oh, there's 3 or 4 volumes of Mario Land 2. 6 golden coins. I'm like, I bet it's pretty darn loose.
I bet it's all exactly like this. So here's, before we jump into the stories, I think it is easier to just give context for what's going on here, because the stories themselves don't give you a ton of context. I feel like you know everything you need because they're Mario stories, right? It's like when we say the first chapter is based on Paper Mario, they're not doing any storytelling. It's just like, okay, think of any Mario game, think of the MacGuffins you have to get to beat it, and think of the bosses you have to kill. And so every chapter essentially seems to be just like, okay, focused on us getting this star and killing this boss, and it's just going to be gag after gag after gag based on that scenario. So it's like, okay.
It's like the Mario TV show or any of like the Sonic cartoon, where it's like, I mean, it's very loose. Like, yeah, we've got the enemies from Sonic 2 or the Mario cartoon, but they're not very serialized, despite this running for 30 years, is what the kind of feeling I get.
It's like nobody feels like they have real characterization or that there's real story being told. It's just like we're walking through the steps of a plot while just using it as an excuse to draw funny pictures, and you know, a lot of times I do like the art in this, which I think of course is going to be one of the big draws. It's for elementary schoolers, right? It's not meant for aging podcasters sitting there reviewing it 30 years later, right?
No, because I'm reading this and I'm like, oh, Paper Mario, they're going to talk about how Mario is paper here or something. Like, no,
he's drawn like Mario. It's just based loosely on that game, and yeah. And Mario's like a little pig person in this. Everybody looks like a pig to me in this comic.
Yeah,
like
he's
short.
He actually, there was a Mario Kun was in Mario Maker. There's a costume for him, which I don't know if we've unlocked. But
I never played the first Mario Maker.
No, it's Mario Maker 2. So
there's a costume now?
Yeah,
I haven't played in a bit. Um, we okay. Let's go through these stories real quick. Honestly, there's like two of these that I want to focus on and talk about for a bit. The rest of them are just going to be like, okay, this was it. Cool, great.
Right. That's great for me.
In the first one, it's Paper Mario. It's when they're in like a lava world, and Sushi the fish is helping them with like their ice powers. And it's fine. There's a few gags when like they get a nice refreshing drink that the fish gives them, and they're like, "Oh, this is great." And you later find out that he's been like spitting it up from inside him. They're like, "Oh my god, that's so gross."
Mario drank fish vomit. This is hilarious.
Yeah. I think they kiss him later or something like that too. Something like that. Chris, how you doing over there so far? You interested in any of this?
So what age is this supposed to be for?
It's for elementary school kids, and this is also I don't know if we explicitly said this is a collection of the best of strips from the last 30 years. The best of.
Yeah, that was my other question, because I was like, when in Mario's continuity? Because I feel like they were still rebooting it up until like 1991 or so.
Yeah, the earliest one we've got in here is from Paper Mario, which is late 90s, early 2000s, if it's by the game. And it does, the first page literally says, right after the table of contents, they told me that over the 30 years, I've had the word poop 119 times and fart 77 times. So, sorry.
This is, yeah.
I think it's like how I think there's like Mario nudity that's not in ours here, but like how like Dragon Ball has some like shows like Goku's butt and stuff.
There is a lot of butt humor in this book, and you know what? I guess kids like butts. They think it's funny all the time, every time, and I get it. That's what you do for them. You just draw butts, and you make them laugh. But let's keep going, because I don't want to.
You really figured out cartooning.
That's all cartooning is. Just draw a butt.
The second story here, though, is my favorite. This one actually got a gag. This one's got a gag that actually made me laugh. I laughed. I did like
this one. You're right. This is based on Super Mario Sunshine, and Mario is like cleaning up the thing with his flood unit. And we get this. These like goo people. What are these things called?
I don't know what they're
whatever
called.
The messy goop things are, and they're like, "Oh, you need to help us. We need you to collect the red coins. They ate red coins," which I did like. That it was just like completely aping the video game with that. It was nice.
Yeah, it's not that the 8 coins is shorthand for some other project. It's like, no, literally pick 8 coins out of the sky for me.
Uh-huh. Yes, exactly.
And there's literally a panel where he's shouting at one over the top of a building. He's like, "Too high!" And they're like, "I have a rocket launcher thing that you can turn my thing into water for, and you can shoot up like a rocket." And Mario's like, "Hell yeah, let's do that."
Yes, but that's right. One of these goops is like he's behind on his productivity of messing up the town, and so he needs these coins to like help himself be healthy by like being better at his job or something like that. Man, and Mario's like gung-ho ready to help him, and he like goes and collects these 8 coins.
He goes, "Friend, baddie doesn't matter when somebody's in trouble."
Yes. Yeah. And he is, like you're watching a cartoon and somebody gets zapped by lightning, and then they're like on the ground and they're like charred, and that is like every gag in this book. Like that's sort of the just the form of it. Something bad happens to somebody, you see them drawn like dirty and messed up, and that's it. We move on to the next gag, which is the same thing again and again. And that's Mario collecting these 8 coins. Something happens to him every time.
I'm not gonna lie. I watch a lot of my son's YouTube videos, and the general genre is people screaming at things that happen to them. So and they're billionaires, so they must be doing something right.
Super Mario
they cracked the code.
Yeah, I did really like this drawing of him like being zapped by something or other. He looks messed up, and it's great.
Mario,
yes. That might be my panel of the week here, to be honest. It's so hard to describe, but it's just like, man, he's fucking zapped to hell, and he's done. He's just done. Yeah. But he gets these 8 red coins. He's done with his mission. And they're like, haha, we tricked you. We just wanted to tire you out so we could beat you up or something. But it was pretty funny.
But.
Yeah. Oh, but? Was there more to it?
Mario gave him the old switcheroo and didn't give him 8 red coins. He gave him 8 tomato slices.
Oh, that's right.
And they're like, doesn't matter. We still kick the shit out of you, and you're all depleted. You're fine. And then he took all 8 red coins and fully recharged his health, and then beat him up on the last page.
Good job.
And I laughed.
That was pretty good.
They even showed like the little health bar from Mario Sunshine, the little like sun pattern, Chris.
Oh.
No, I laughed out loud. I was like, this can boost me back to health. Kapow! I'm like, this is great. This is all I wanted. This is perfect.
See, that's a much better use. The fact that not only are there coins floating in the air, but that they heal Mario.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the peak of this book for me.
Great. I like the next one a little bit. Stage 3. I like how all the chapters are called stages. That's cute. But stage 3 is called Off to Help the Squid Squad. It's based on also Sunshine.
The giant blooper boss level, Chris, at Rico Harbor.
Oh yeah.
There you go. Now you know what's up.
So, these guys are like, our mom has gone crazy, and you know how he defeats this thing. It's not going to end well.
So, well, first off, how do these things like determine that their mom has gone crazy? Is that one of them drew a picture for her that she didn't like, and the other one wrote an essay that she criticized heavily. And that was enough for them to know that our mom has turned evil by some malicious force. And it is a malicious force. It's the evil goo Mario, whatever that
Evil
thing is
El
called.
Piantismo. Yes.
Yes, that one.
Baby Bowser.
No, the Mario that's like Shadow Mario that you chase around that framed you and threw Mario
That
in
was
prison.
Baby Bowser.
I think they were different characters. Now I'm going to have to go to the Mario continuity. Mario gets thrown in prison at the beginning of this movie for committing crimes that he clearly has an alibi for. There's scenes where he's in a jail cell, and it's fully voiced because it was 2002. It was a messed up time. That's not in this comic.
No.
I was gonna say, if any of this is in there, that would
No,
be crazy.
this is just squids here. Just squids. Yoshi's here as well. Yoshi tries to ride Mario at the beginning, and it's kind of funny, but it doesn't work. So they go fight this mom to like free her from the evil. And how do they clear it? They just like wash it off her face, right?
Well, no. Well, they rip her arms off too.
They ripped her arms off? I didn't see that. Hold on.
Maybe I conjectured that because that's what they. There's a page. Yeah, he goes on page 51. I'll pull this one out too.
What? Jeez.
That's how you defeat her in the game.
Sometimes the art, I do like it, but it's a little bit busy and it's easy to miss stuff because there's very little negative space on these pages at all, which I think, again, is also by design. Keep it action-packed, keep it busy, but it is a little difficult to focus, and I miss stuff for sure. Damn, Mario's savage. Well, then after they kind of free her, no, here's what happened. They found the picture and the essay that she was still holding on to it, even in her evil form. And they're like, oh, there's still a piece of her in there. And they managed to, wipe off the mud and she becomes good again. And then another octopus attacks at the end. I feel like there's a cultural...
I think this was actually a jump into the next story.
Oh.
I was confused by that too, because no other pages start on the right page. But I think that this one did. Because, he goes from finding an octopus to an octopus. Yeah.
And that was a really... Why would you put these two stories back to back? Because it's literally, they end the scene like happy with the octopus, okay? Because mom is saved now. You see evil Mario in the shadows, dude in the shadows, saying, go ahead, enjoy your victory for now. I'm only just getting started. Then the next page is a different octopus coming in going, rawr, get ready for round 2. That's another octopus coming in for round 2.
Right. That's very good. In a completely different game because now we're in Mario and Luigi Partners in Time.
Okay.
I guess they're adapting everything. Did they adapt Hotel Mario or Mario is Missing?
No, they did not. Not from what I could tell. They also didn't do like Paper Mario Paper Jam or Mario and Luigi Paper Jam. This is the only Mario and Luigi I could tell that they adapted was starting with this next one. But they did do like...
Okay.
They didn't do Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. But, Chris, you were right. It is Shadow Mario, or Shadow Mario is Bowser Jr. disguised as Shadow Mario. Il Piantismo is a different guy entirely. That's just a painter. And
Okay,
he
got
may
it.
have gotten the evil paintbrush, Bowser Jr. He may have gotten it from Professor Egad of Luigi's Mansion fame. Who also designed the Flood, but it's
a lot of
unclear.
interesting trivia.
Hold
Yeah.
on, was he meant to be a red herring in that game?
El Pianissimo? I can't sell his name. This is a funny joke.
It's getting worse and worse.
El Pianissimo. I'm not going to do this.
Okay. We got to continue because stage 4, I think, had the most shocking thing I expected to see in this book. So it is a different octopus battle, and really, that's all the context you need. It is from the Mario and Luigi Partners in Time game, so we have little Mario and little Luigi also there with everybody.
Yes, they time traveled back in time and teamed up with Baby Mario, Baby Luigi.
And it's pretty cute. I like seeing the little baby versions helping and getting all beat up because that's everything that happens to everyone. We find out that this octopus is defeated by tears, but not just any tears, just baby tears will hurt this thing. Adult tears have no effect.
I haven't played this game since 2006. I don't remember if that is a actual element of the game, I will be shocked.
I don't know. So
yeah, I remember Super Princess Peach. She cries a lot, but I don't think the tears are like a necessary puzzle element.
Well, there's not Baby Peach.
It's true.
I mean, there may be a thing in that game where like an enemy is immune to adult attacks, but not immune to baby attacks or something. Like that's possible. But
sorry, I stumbled on this panel here where Peach is the one to figure out what it is. She says, "It must be baby tears. This monster is weak to the tears of sweet, innocent babies." That's a good way to put it.
I'm glad it was Princess Toadstool that said that and not like Luigi or Yoshi, because that'd be a creepy thing for them to say.
Yes.
And then the octopus I have no weaknesses, shut up. And then they cut up a bunch of onions to cry.
That's a good gag. There's just like a mountain of chopped onions that appears out of nowhere.
See, that's the kind of like 80s manga anime humor I know.
But for me, the biggest shocker of this chapter was the literal shocker that Mario and Luigi got during the fight with this octopus, where it basically rams a tentacle up each of their asses. And they have the most shocked expressions on their faces where their eyes are bugging out. There's like, it's either drool or snot coming down from their nose/mouth. They are, yes, 100%. It is the craziest thing. I'm gonna have to take a picture and send it to Chris right now.
Maybe this should be the show image.
It is. I don't get it. I don't get why this is. And there's so much more of this as we go. This is our first instance of it, but there's a lot of people getting shocked up the butt in these books. I didn't expect it. Yeah. Well, anyways, I did think this chapter overall was very sweet, not because of the anal stuff there, but because of just saying goodbye to the kids. I think this was the first chapter that wasn't like right in the middle of a story. It actually was the end of a story, and so we have. We have the baby Mario and Luigi saying goodbye to their parents. No, not to their parents, to their older counterparts. And I'm trying to send you this image, Chris. It's not working. Damn it. All right. Well, we'll have to save it for after the show. Sorry, Chris. You can't stand it. Yeah, it was very sweet. There was a nice big spread at the end where the babies are like looking up in the sky. It's just like this big Mario and Luigi saying goodbye. And their time machine heading out. I like that a lot. It was nice.
Oh, so Mario and Luigi were helping the
babies, yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. So Princess Peach was a baby as well, I think.
Sure.
I don't
Wasn't
remember.
she? I don't
know. I don't remember how Partners in Time worked. It's kind of where I fall. It was a lesser game, and then Bowser's Inside Story, the next Mario and Luigi game, like righted the ship. But I think this is funny because like the games I like less are the comics I like more. Which maybe
interesting.
I like the Sunshine and the Mario and Luigi comics more than the games I did like. So
Wow.
for whatever that's worth, maybe that's just because I have lower expectations. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna fuck this up.
And you didn't even know who Bowser Jr. was.
I mean, well, Bowser Jr. thinks that he's the child of Peach through that whole thing.
Yes.
He doesn't know.
And so
and
dresses
Peach is confused.
like
She's like, "Did I have a child that was a dinosaur? I can't remember."
Look, Peach party's pretty hard.
So the next chapter is
got this image. What on earth?
Peach. My goodness. Yeah. How much stuff you have to be on to forget that you gave birth to a reptile? I don't know. Anyways, we have
he calls it the Princess Poke.
This is an awkward book. We have so the next
tentacle attack is going to end us. Oh my gosh.
There's a lot. There's a lot of tentacle attacks.
When I gave my 5-year-old this Mario manga, I thought it would be appropriate for all ages.
That's what we thought. This is supposed to be a family podcast.
There are content warnings in this book, but not for this.
We'll get to the content warnings. Oh, there's a chapter that they moved it to the back of the book on purpose because of the content. There's not
a
the
content warning in the table of contents and then a content warning before you get to it again.
Yeah, it's wild. Just wait. So the next 2 chapters are like I think it's the first 2-part kind of story we see in here. It's based on Super Paper Mario. Bowser, we've seen Bowser earlier. We didn't mention him. This is like the most off-model Bowser I've ever seen. This looks nothing like Bowser to me. It's like a little pig with horns on, and that's it. I don't like him. But this chapter, what is cool in this chapter is Mr. L shows up. He is he's clearly Luigi. He's got like a backwards L on his hat, and he's wearing like a superhero kind of a outfit or a super villain because he's lost his memory and he claims to not know who Luigi is. But it's pretty cute. I liked him just kind of like being there and hanging out to fight everybody. I don't remember any specific gags.
I like how it just goes, "I know not of this Luigi," and then Mario looks up, except you're clearly Luigi.
It's pretty nice. And then the next chapter goes into like the 4 heroes of the story. I guess is what I played Super Paper Mario forever.
You did. I remember you playing it at our apartment.
I played it there. Gosh, yeah. I can never remember where I played this stuff.
The 4 heroes. I feel like this is a riff on Final Fantasy with because they call them the 4 Heroes of Light, and I'm not sure if that's like an American English translation thing or if that's just what it was.
But there's Bowser, Mario. The other thing I'll say, speaking of that, there are a few like jokes in here. I didn't like note any of them because they weren't particularly good, but they are like language dependent, like based on English, where I was like, oh, that's fun wordplay. And I don't know what the Japanese counterpart would have been and how it worked so well,
Right. I think about that like a lot because there's like rhymes and stuff. I'm like, how did they do this? What was the original?
Yeah. Like the nice localization, I guess. Mm-hmm. So I wonder if like the translator has to rewrite the joke in a way that makes sense and is still funny, and like that seems like a lot of work.
Or there's no joke and they just say fuck it. They get whimsical.
I think a lot of and I'm not an expert on this, but I've heard a few podcasts about it. I think a lot of localization is like trying to make the spirit of the joke work. So you just kind of, if it's a play on words, you have to like understand both the Japanese joke and then try to do it as, a joke that, I don't know, 7-year-olds would understand.
Yeah. Well, the 4th hero of light turns out to be Peach, and everything is great, and they win. Stage 7, gag battle at the edge of space. I'm glad they called it a gag battle, because I was like thinking throughout this whole book, I'm like, this is nothing but gags all the way through, and they literally refer to it as a gag.
This has such a like Speed Racer era manga, or I guess I'm thinking of the anime vibe, right? It's just I could hear the brass under your voice as you were announcing that episode.
Oh yes, the titles definitely have that feeling. Yeah,
it just sounds like something from the 70s or 80s.
Mm-hmm. the beginning of this. Wait, am I in the right place?
We're
Yeah,
in Mario
this one's
Galaxy
Super
now.
Mario Galaxy. I like
Chris,
that
do you
there's
remember,
this.
do you remember
Oh, go ahead.
Mario Galaxy when a girl Boo was in love with Mario?
I don't remember this. I didn't get very far in
I don't.
Galaxy.
This doesn't happen. I cannot.
Okay,
imagine
I'm
this
like that would be an odd direction for Mario Galaxy.
Well, I'm mostly confused. So, this ghost is looking. This Boo is looking at a poster of Mario, but it's not. It's Ghost Mario.
He does
And
have
it's
a
like
ghost
this-
power up in that game.
Oh, is that it? It's like a
It
picture
might
of
be, and he
that.
like went through walls and stuff. If I'm not mistaken.
Did he look grotesque?
He did not look like a Ren and Stimpy drawing. No.
He looked like this is the most disgusting picture in this book for sure. It looks like he's been stung by bees all over. His mustache looks broken, like it's glass.
It
He's
looks
got
like
a
a-
crown of thorns with boils up on the. I don't get it.
He's a little Wario-y with his nose. It feels like, Ren and Stimpy, though. When Ren and Stimpy would have like those like super detailed paintings they would just zoom in on. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah. So there's a nice battle up at the edge of space against a rock monster. There's a whole ton of rock puns in this one. It was pretty much all this book was.
But they did a good job with the translation here.
Yeah,
I thought they were pretty good rock puns.
Definitely. I think that was this is where it came into play the most. And then what happens? How do they beat it? A bunch of boos show up and they're all helping out a bit. I was kind of losing interest by the end of this one, to be honest.
They call him the Bouldergeist, though. I thought that was pretty cool.
The Bouldergeist was a good joke. That was a good joke.
But now he's rocking out.
Yep. The next chapter is the tale of Yoshi and Chain Chomp, where
From New Super Mario Brothers Wii.
that's right. That was such an interesting decision because I guess not really. It's just that title evokes so much less for me because it's very like there's nothing descriptive about the game in there. It's just like okay, new means nothing, and Wii is the system it was on. But
right.
doesn't tell me anything
I
about
hate
the game.
Nintendo putting new in their titles and stuff. Like it's so.
Yeah, it's very odd.
There was a system called the new Nintendo 3DS.
That's the one that doesn't have 3D, right?
It does have 3D. That you're thinking of the new Nintendo DS, Nintendo 2DS. I'm sorry.
2DS, yeah.
The new Nintendo 2DS, not to be confused with the Nintendo 2DS, which was new at one point, and different than new Pokemon Snap or Yoshi's New Island.
Yoshi's New Island, my goodness.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense. How would you confuse them unless you said it that way?
Mm-hmm. This is the new Pokemon Snap. This is the new Super Mario Brothers Wii, not to be confused with the other Super Mario Brothers Wii.
The other one, not called old. So this chapter of news of it's the Yoshi and Chain Chomp story. Basically, the biggest part of this is at one point Yoshi and Chain Chomp both get stuck in this like chain link fence. And I really like the drawing of the Yoshi being stuck in the fence with its like kind of how would you describe these eyes? They're like deranged almost a little bit with his tongue is sticking out. You know what Yoshi's tongue looks like when you try to eat like something you can't eat and it goes all wiggly and he goes bah. That's what it looks like here, and I really like that drawing. And just him being like pulled out of there, this Chain Chomp crying stuck in there. Very good art in this chapter. I think I like this art because the Chain Chomp is so big and bold and the Yoshi is drawn so big and bold that everything just like stood out a little bit better to me compared to a lot of the other chapters. But I don't remember anything about the story.
And they go back to like the Mario like brick backgrounds and stuff, which look really good.
Yeah, and Iggy Koopa is it. And Yoshi always carries some Goomba jerky with him, which is a little sad almost. I didn't really ever think of Yoshi literally eating these things. It's more that like they just disappear, right? But like no, Yoshi's eaten all the time.
He's constantly shitting out eggs.
Yes, he's
very efficient.
Yeah. And then the last story here is another Sunshine one, right? Which again, it doesn't really seem to have much to do with any of the games, but I think Flood is there, so that's why it has to be a Sunshine story. But it's a Christmas mystery where Yoshi is like, "Where is Mario?" And where are Mario and the Flood unit going without me? And they keep trying to evade me. What is this? And I feel like the title, Solve the Christmas Mystery, kind of gives it away a little bit of what's going on here. But of course, it turns out Mario is getting a present for Yoshi, and it's a whole bunch of food. It's a cake that is full of sugar, is how they describe it, right?
Right. You saw the fruits and stuff, because to conjure Yoshi like in the game, you had to like do something with a certain amount of fruits and an egg, because Yoshi wasn't in Mario 64, and the big deal was that he was in Sunshine. And so you like ate a bunch of fruit, and then he like vomited up like fruit as acid to like spray things, kind of like the Flood. It was very weird. I remember weird. Yoshi not, and then he couldn't swim. Motherfucker, like if he touched any water, he would disappear. And that whole game is water.
What?
It's bullshit.
That sounds terrible. I've seen little bits of Super
only
Mario
bad
Sunshine.
design decision in Mario Sunshine.
There's otherwise a flawless game. I don't even get far enough to get Yoshi in that game. That's how much that game just like stops me from wanting to play it.
I've done the same thing. I played it once and I was like, yeah, I'm done.
It's fine. Yeah. Like graded on a curve, like like against the rest of the Mario curve, it is not a good game. But as like compared to like most other platformers, especially like GameCube platforms, it's fine.
It does feel to me, I mean, since you said it that way, like it feels more like a bad PS2 platformer than a Mario platformer.
It feels like something Xbox would make as their Mario killer.
Yeah, the like ukulele or whatever, the new game like that. Like it looks like something those guys would make. Here
Platonic,
it is.
Yeah. Which are former like Rare Banjo-Kazooie people. But
yeah. If they had kept designing weird, rare style characters instead of Conker's Bad Fur Day and nothing.
Right. Yeah, but it's fine. Yoshi has a troubled history with 3D games, because I'm pretty sure the reason they can't port Mario Galaxy 2 to the Switch is because of the Yoshi. What? Because you need to be able to like waggle like Yoshi's tongue, which is hard to touch with like the touch screen, and also control him with a stick. I think that's the problem. I think Yoshi's
more control stick focused. I feel like there should just be a dedicated like hit Z to solve these things.
Right.
Like get with it. Yeah. Whoever is like the one guy that Nintendo is assigned to adapt all Wii games for the Switch.
All right. We got to get back to this comic here. I think we have basically reached the end of the regular chapters. Now it is time for the special stage.
Oh, this is a note for me, though, because I'm the only parent here.
A note for parents to please read before continuing. And it is a warning. It tells us about how this chapter in the original Japanese Best of collection was in like the middle of the book somewhere, but they pulled it to the back because it deals with sensitive matters that might be upsetting to children. And they've still included it because it's part of the greatest hits that the creator wanted to, but he was okay with moving it to the back.
Now I'm really scared. Like, what did Mario do? Are we canceling Mario?
We're not canceling Mario at all. It's called Super Mario Old. Mari-old.
Goes to the beach that makes you old.
No, it starts off in it's Luigi is looking for him. It almost is a Mario is missing story, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow.
But he's got his he's got his poltergust with him as well. So it is, I guess, canon with Luigi's Mansion. But he's going to look for Toad comes in and is like, oh, Peach has been kidnapped for the millionth time. And Luigi is like, all right, I gotta go find Mario. Yoshi knows where he is. They all they head over there, and it's like, oh, he's in the hospital? Why is my bro here? And Yoshi just says, oh, you'll see, and which I think was a very weird thing to say. And he's fine. He's just like sitting at a table at the hospital, like arms folded, head kind of resting on them, looking up, looking very haggard, got a little bit of a shadow going on. His eyes looks like he hasn't slept in ages.
I've never thought about that.
Mario shaves.
Mustache.
Yeah, but just so clearly he shaves the rest of his beard because he could have a 5 o'clock shadow. I never think of this.
And Luigi's like, "What's wrong? We got to cheer this guy back up." And they keep on like, he's suggesting stuff. And then the next page just gets like so serious.
Well,
And
because Mario's like, he's like, we gotta go say. He's like, so what? What's the point?
yeah.
There's no.
Well,
I'm done with jokes and puns.
Is he drunk?
No.
No.
Very special episode. Luigi finds Mario.
This is the writer working some things out.
Yeah. Very literally. And then he says, check out my hands. He says, look how wrinkled and old they are. And like, that's why I'm here at the hospital. But like my spirit is hurting, and he's just like stuck there. And the way that this was sold to me as a chapter before we read this is that Mario's parents have died, and that's why he's at the hospital. But then the captions on all the next pages are literally from the creator, from the author, saying, like, I've been working on this book, blah, 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 recently while my father was sick in the hospital. And it's literally turns into like a biography thing over panels of Mario and Luigi, like having adventures and doing stuff. But it is the creator just working things out and just being like, yeah, he's dead now, and I'm trying to do this and keep up with the jokes in the comic and try to figure out how I can make it all work. Mm-hmm. And
which I think is like a legitimately like interesting thing. I wouldn't probably publish it in the comic. I think like if it had just been like a little like section, just of like prose text in the middle of this thing, like sometimes it's really hard to write pee poo 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 jokes, like when you're going through some like real shit and you don't feel like you need to do it, but like your job is requiring you to do pee pee poo poo jokes. And I can understand that. Like it's like I vibe very much with this writer. I'm like, I understand, man. Yeah. I don't know if this was the right venue to do it.
I'm gonna say I think it was the right venue to do it. I think it's perfect. I think this is my favorite story in the whole book. And it gets
what a wild turn. You could have given me 50 guesses and I wouldn't have guessed.
I know, right? It's so out there, especially after the rest of this book. Seeing something serious, I think, made me so happy because I was just like, wow. Okay, there's really something in here, and this chapter feels like it means something. And it gets silly again afterwards because Dr. Mario shows up with a big pill and is like, I'll fix him right up. And literally like shoves this giant pill down his throat. It's like the size of Mario's head, and you see Dr. Mario jamming it down the throat.
So Dr. Mario is jamming the pellet down Mario's throat?
Yep,
correct.
They're separate characters.
They're separate characters, yes. Okay.
It's just, like a Smash Brothers situation.
No, hold on. He explains it. He says, because I'm Mario from 25 years in the future when the series is celebrating its 50th anniversary. So this was the 25th anniversary celebration, which I think makes it even better. And
which would make Mario, like 2015?
I guess so, yeah. Mario is now like looking all cheery. Dr. Mario heads back. It ends with Mario in a squid costume eating ramen. He says, when there's trouble, Calamario, because I can't wait to stir up a good fight. And Luigi says, you got to be squidding me. And is this a joke? Yoshi is now shaped like a letter C, and he says, I did not see this ending coming. Why? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that's got to be something in Japanese.
That's got to be something. That's got to be something. And then we get another couple of little pages from Yukio Sawada writing about that time, and just a little bit more of like biographical stuff about him, which I appreciated.
I thought that was really good, yeah.
And like just thanking that Koro Koro Aniki for letting him publish this, and just letting him publish in general and all that.
It's nice to see like your writers being like real people.
Yeah.
And like, and like I'm sure it helped people process things. And I mean, it's a good message. It's like it was sad, but I also had great moments with my dad and these other things. Like it was sweet in that regard.
Yeah. Very awkward though, 100%. I can't imagine a child reading that, and like how they would handle it at all.
Like if I went to like that Japanese store Kia in New York that I went with you that one time, I bought a Koro Koro book. And I'm like, hell yeah, let's read a Mario comic. And this was the one I got. I'd be very confused.
Yeah. By the way, I was thinking about this. Could you imagine if Marvel did that? If it was like, instead of publishing single issues, you just bought like a big collection and had every issue for the month in there?
They have like reprints and stuff of that, like at Barnes & Noble, but not like 2000 AD, which is still something I think we should cover someday. Because that's like what Judge Dredd's in something like this, right?
Yeah,
where it's just published as like small chapters in a big collection. Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Some stuff like that would be nice. I wonder if we did something like that, would we read like Judge Dredd for a whole bunch of chapters, or would we like pick a random issue of 2000 AD and get a bunch of like half chapters of stuff?
Right. It'd be cool. I mean, like that's how like Disney Adventure Comics was, I guess. That's how Mad is a bit, but it's not serialized at least. It doesn't have like constant running strips. I guess it's kind of like reading the newspaper every day.
Right.
You know, where like I'm gonna read these 3 things that I like. I'm gonna read Calvin and Hobbes. I'm gonna read Peanuts, and like Family Circus.
Yeah, and I'll look at some of the others.
And Fred Bassett, because he's a cute dog.
Nah, I don't like that one. No,
Marvin, he was a baby. I did not have a good palate.
Okay, so we got to get to our long read here. We are on to. Okay, hold on. Anything else to say about Super Mario before we're done?
I think it's interesting as a factual. I'm glad I read it. I don't ever want. I was done by the end of this, like emotionally.
Yeah, definitely. I really had a hard time focusing on a lot of the action-packed chapters and stuff. Yeah, not interested in reading more. Chris, what did you think?
Yeah, I feel bad I didn't read it, but I was like, Vince should like this, right? And that Vince is lukewarm on it. I'm like, yeah, I probably would not have liked this.
I don't know if it's because it's structured like as a bunch of like random issues, or if it had been just like, if it had been all of Super Mario Land 2, if I'd be like way more into it or not. I think it would be.
It's hard to say. I would say it's kind of impossible not to be, but I also still feel like the tone wouldn't really be changing, and I still wouldn't overall like it, but it would be more pleasant to read a more complete story rather than a bunch of pieces of stories.
Right. I think so.
Yeah. I'm genuinely curious. I know, like, do we still, can you comment on our website? What's our website?
allmyfriendsareright.com. I just paid $18 to keep the domain for another year.
Wow. Incredible.
allmyfriendsarerighthere.com.
You know, one day we'll ask
can we get access to that show?
Yeah. One day we'll ask our listeners for money somehow, because isn't that what podcasts are supposed to do?
Mm-hmm.
But I would say just go to the website and like put a comment or something. If you don't want to comment there,
YouTube. We do have people comment on our YouTube as well.
But like honestly, maybe people don't want to be public and comment like that. Don't worry, nobody's going to read our website. Just go there, put a note there, just saying you read it, because I would genuinely be so curious who read this thing with us. It is.
I know we have some good YouTubers. They want us to do Animal Man by Grant Morrison.
I want to do that one. I love that book.
Yeah.
I want to do it less now. They've talked me out of it.
Now that the YouTubers are at home.
Yeah, I don't want to give in to their demands.
Oh no.
It was very polite. They recommended that we do this.
Knock it off with your demands, YouTubers. Okay, so one day we'll need to have a more serious crack at manga at some point in the future, something that is not video game related, because I know we've got YouTube manga fans also probably steaming just at
Steam. I like Steam.
Steam?
Like my Steam Deck? That's video games, right?
That's video games. You're just in a video game pun mood. So let's get on to the long read, though. Well, I think we've spent enough time on Mario. We are at the third chapter of Knightfall. We have Batman 493. Batman's in the Batmobile. He's just thinking about all these people who have recently been escaped from Arkham, or I guess released from Arkham by Bane. And he hears the cops talk about a killer who's hiding out at the Bates School for Women. I don't remember when they named him, but eventually we get that this is Zsasz, Z-S-A-S-Z is his name. I don't know that I've ever seen or heard of this villain before, other than maybe reading his name somewhere.
He's in Arkham.
Play any of the Arkham games?
He's all over Arkham.
I have not
That's
played
all I
any
know
of the
him from.
Arkham games. I should play. I think I have like one of those collections. I think. Yeah.
Asylum's like a
Anyway.
good little Metroidvania. It's all like in the asylum.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I love one. It's a little janky, but because it's from like what 2008 or 9,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
but it's very self-contained and you can beat it in like 6 hours, which is and it's a good tour of like Batman stuff. City is like a better game, but it's also like a little too long and it's open world.
Yeah. Got it. Okay.
Different games, but yeah.
Both good games. Zats is in both. He is in Batman Begins. He is like I wouldn't even call him secondary antagonist. He is a tertiary antagonist in that you see a bald guy when the like fear gas is going through the city and everyone's going crazy and all the inmates have escaped or whatever. There's a bald guy with a knife with a scarred up head who's like he's in like a few scenes.
That's okay. I don't remember him, but I was going to say.
I don't remember him. I think, but getting to the conclusion of this issue, I now know who Zsasz is. I know what he looks like. I think I'll recognize him for the rest of my life.
I think Katie Holmes knocks him out, if I'm remembering the last act.
There's
of
a
that
lot
movie.
of skinheads in that movie.
Yeah. Interesting.
But yeah, I know. I remember Zsasz. Like, does he give you like puzzles, kind of like Riddler token stuff? But
yeah, and his voice actor is just constantly like, only you can stop the pain, Bat. So you just really want to punch him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's not the kind of voice I got from his writing in this issue here.
Yeah, and he had just been created in Shadow of the Bat issues 1 through 4, where Batman, get this, gets trapped in Arkham.
Whoa.
And he's introduced as a like Silence of the Lambs style like serial killer crazy guy.
I see. Okay, that makes sense.
And we didn't say the creative team here, but it's Doug Minch, creator of Moon Knight, and our boy Norm Breakfoil, who also did last issue also of not Batman, I guess Detective Comics.
Vince, I feel like you're having a really hard time with your pronunciations today.
Yeah.
Norm.
Il Piantinissimo.
I've been saying Brayfogle in my head. I don't know if that's accurate.
No, you're right. I'm adding a G in there.
Okay, great. But yeah, I really like it. But he continues to draw Batman so sad and weary in this, where like the eyes on the Batman mask are also droopy, which I really like.
Yeah. I love it. It doesn't seem like he's exhausted from fighting. It seems like he has like seasonal anxiety.
Yeah.
He's like, man, I just don't see the sun anymore.
Yeah. Oh man. And I
like slouching.
I really like his design of Zsasz as well. I think he's sufficiently creepy. Like this guy is instantly just like, I don't like him. I don't like your face and how your eyebrows are like. Or your eyes, I don't know what exactly it's meant to be. It's not meant to be anything specific. It's just meant to like evoke an evil face, and it does. It's nice. It looks like when people wear those like jet sunglasses that like are very triangular, but with points that extend out forever. Not like forever, but like a long way. Like that's what this guy's wearing.
Right. Yeah, they're like coming off his face. It seems like.
Yeah. And he's got tally marks all over his body that he has, I guess, carved into his own skin for everyone that he kills. And he is at this school for women, and he's got a whole bunch of women trapped in a room.
School.
There we go, the Bates School for Women, and they are
That's
all
a Psycho reference.
Oh, that makes sense.
The film freak may be dead, but his spirit lives on.
And he is not going to kill these ladies. He's just going to lock them in this room and let them seethe, which I guess is cool. One of them in particular is really like, we should have jumped him, like beat him up. But then we get a whole bunch of scenes. I would say the least interesting parts of this book are when the cops are hanging around outside talking because nothing is happening. And they're just like, there's people in here, blah, blah, blah. What are we going to do? They've already sent one guy in there named Axton, and another guy is going to go in there, Benson, to like look for him or something. I guess they Zsasz has told the cops like, don't send anybody in. I'm going to kill them or something like that. But they do, of course. And this other guy who comes in finds Axton dead, and then the killer attacks him, and they're both dead now. Great, nice job. Bane and his crew are watching all this on the news. Bird is kind of like stalking the whole area, like looking around for Batman. He's like, yeah, no sign of Batman yet. But like, I gotta tell you, I met his little Robin fella the other day, and anybody who would be weak enough to need like a kid to help him out, like, man, this guy's easy. Like, you just gotta go beat him up and kill him now. And Bane's like, no, not yet. We're just gonna chill for a bit. And then let's see, the killer is that's right. He killed those two guys, and now he's got their walkies. And so he starts talking to the cops out there, and he's like, "Yeah, I told y'all not to send any cops." And he throws their dead bodies out the window. It's great. That's when Batman shows up and heads in. And Batman's going through these dark hallways looking for him, and he runs into Robin instead. Oh, look at that. They're like, they literally have their hands on each other's throats because they were expecting to find the killer. And I guess between the last issue and this issue, they just have not talked at all, which is very awkward. This like kind of caught me off guard a little bit, that I was like, oh, what's going on with y'all's relationship here right now? Batman just kind of wants to work alone and be alone, I guess. All the while he's talking about how he's like, oh boy, I didn't even get here in time. 2 people are already dead. Oh, I'm so tired. I'm working so much. But like, it's okay. Just let Robin handle it, man. I don't know what's going on with you.
Tim Drake is pretty new at this point. He's been around for like a year and a half or 2 years. So it hasn't been very long at all. Like, it's only been a year since he got transported off to Europe or somewhere where he could learn his own mini Batman Begins and learn karate better.
Mm-hmm. That's right. But he just like sends him away. He says like, no, you're just going to get in my way in the dark. It won't be safe. Zsasz, meanwhile, is about to kill one of these women, and Montoya bursts in. And we got a little bit of a standoff. Zsasz has a woman at knife point, and Montoya's got the gun there. We don't know what's going to do. Gordon is talking to somebody. Who's this guy? Do we know who this is? Who's like some rich, like, I don't know, his boss maybe? Who's like, yeah, we might need a new commissioner, because you're doing a bad job with this school thing. You should have taken care of it immediately. I don't know. Seems like this guy doesn't know what's going on right now. Also,
He's
like
a dude in the shadows, and it says Kroll Estate. It's probably Nick Kroll's dad.
It's probably Nick Kroll. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nick Kroll's dad.
More Hollywood nepotism,
right?
But also, like, man, why are you bothering him about this right now? Like, do you have Gordon in your office in the middle of the situation, telling him like, hey, this situation that is ongoing, you're not doing a good job with it. I don't know. It feels awkward. But Montoya is also probably not a great cop yet at this point. Zsasz is like, all right, listen, I'll put the girl down if you put your gun down, and turn around. And Montoya's like, okay, sure. And she throws her gun off to the side and turns around. And Zsasz gets her at knife point instead. Great. Nice job, Montoya. Excellent work.
I mean, I feel like that was kind of what she expected to happen.
Sure. But like, honestly, good on Zsasz for like not killing the other woman. Like, I don't know.
He's not at that level where he's a video game villain where he chooses the most evil choice.
Yeah. But then Batman comes in, and we get a little scene of like, I don't know, I wouldn't call it a hostage negotiation scene, but Zsasz is like turning things around on Batman. It's like, hey, you and I are the same. We stalk our prey in the dark. And he's kind of just got Batman all distracted, and Batman's already weary, and he's got him thinking about Bane. But then Montoya actually does some work and hits him to make a little opening. And Batman and Zsasz fight until he's got Zsasz dead to rights, and the cops step in to arrest him. Then Bird reports back to Bane, and he's like, man, Batman did it, but boy, does he look tired. And that's that chapter. It feels like a very, very done-in-one story, but I do like the way it kind of links up with everything. But overall, not my favorite chapter so far. There's not, I don't know. It was there. It was fine. It is what it is. Got very little to say about it.
I did like in the high school, and I think I texted to you guys back when I read this like 6 months ago. But we're teaching, it was like a 101 government or something like that class.
Oh yes.
and they're like Bohemian Groves on the blackboard. So I don't know what kind of like communist liberal indoctrination program they have that they're talking about Bohemian Grove in like high school, maybe college prep classes. I'm like, what does this have to do with government?
I mean, Iran-Contra is number 1 on that list. JFK is number 3. And both of those are at least, like, you're going to want to talk about current events.
Yeah, that's at least, there's an official history story of JFK. I don't know what... I mean, I guess it's documented that it happened. It's just, Alex Jones is one of the people who documented that it happened. So bad for other reasons.
Yeah. I don't know. Vince, what did you think?
I mean, I thought it was okay. I thought it was a little thin. As a few of these, I think this and last issue just felt like a little thin to me. But I'm also enjoying it. I think it's got an overarching narrative, but then it puts a focus on like one Batman villain per issue, and makes them memorable. I think last episode we had Scarface, the ventriloquist, and then this one we had Zsasz. And I don't know who Zsasz is. He's scary. I like it. It works well for me.
All right. And next time we've got Killer Croc, which should be cool. A nice Sam Keith cover that kind of looks like Ninja Turtles to me, like the Eastman and Laird Ninja Turtles. Doesn't it look like that too? But we'll be doing that one. It is Detective Comics number 660, officially chapter 4 of Knightfall. And then our main read for next time is going to be Jason Aaron had a series called Wolverine and the X-Men in 2011 is what I wrote down with Chris.
Wow, was that long ago? Okay.
Yeah, Chris Bachalo. I'm not sure how you say his name, but an artist who I don't know if we've covered before. Maybe not a whole lot, but
he had a Doctor Strange with maybe Jason Aaron or Jeff Lemire. I want to say.
Yeah, I think it was Jason Aaron. Yeah. I remember reading that.
I liked him he was part of the Brand New Day crop of Spider-Man artists and stuff. He wrote, he did the Zeb Wells arc that was kind of like a horror comic during Christmas that was really cool. And I was like, this guy is awesome. And Chris is like, I think I texted you and you're like, yeah, he's like a major X-Men artist of the 90s. How have you never heard of this dude?
Yeah.
But here he is on Wolverine and the X-Men in 2011.
Yeah, he's got a great style, and Jason Aaron we all seem to be generally favorable on, although I really haven't read a whole lot of this stuff, to be honest.
Southern Bastards, but this was a fun one. I think, Chris, you and me have both read it. It's a pretty, like, chaotic but silly X-Men comic. Wolverine is running the School for Gifted Youngsters. Kid Apocalypse is there. The Hellfire Club. It's kind of, it's a lot to do, despite only being 4 issues. I think it's going to be pretty dense. So.
It's like a focus more on the actual school side of things than any like X-Men book ever, and it's like a comedy book based on that premise.
Okay, cool. Is it only 4 issues like ever?
No, it's like I would say I have like 7 or 8 volumes on my shelf of it. They're all like 4 issues a piece.
Yeah, they started. I think the first series went like 16 issues or something like that, but they started restarting it pretty quickly and doing it like seasons.
Yeah, makes sense.
But like they've got like Quentin. Is it Quentin Quire and stuff? There's a lot of X kids I don't know, but like the weirdo X-Men kids, like they look weird and have weird.
Those are the best ones.
They are
best ones. Can't wait. So that should be fun. So yeah, next time Detective Comics 660 and Wolverine and the X-Men 1 through 4. So what else is going on with y'all here as we end the show? Chris, what is going on with the Your Stupid Minds podcast?
We are taking the week off. There was a recent episode from 2016, I think. So classic episode where Stone Cold is played by Brian Bosworth. He fights Lance Hendrickson, who blows up a state capitol Supreme Court building in a crazy movie. So I recommend that. I also recommend Avatar 2, The Way of Water. Check it out.
Second highest grossing movie of the year.
Yeah, I've heard it's good.
Maybe you've heard about this little movie.
Honestly, you're the second person to mention it to me. So yeah, definitely heard of it. Yeah, Vince, what's up with you?
Not much. I'm about to record an episode of Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions for games my mom found. It's not the main console one, which has actually led the way to Spider-Verse, but it's the DS version, which is a Metroidvania where you play as Spider-Man Noir 2099 and classic Amazing Spider-Man as a Metroidvania for DS. It's fun. I'm going to be on Games My Mind Found. We're going to record that soon. And I would like to recommend Puss in Boots 2, The Last Wish. It's pretty fun.
Okay.
Wow.
Great. And I had a nice relaxing holiday and I was very productive. I don't know when I'm going to start streaming again. I keep promising this to everybody. I'm just going to let it happen when it happens. No more promises.
Get that Super Mario Kun costume for Mario Maker 2, and that's when you can.
Are you sure? I really don't know that there was costumes in Mario Maker 2. I thought they were only in 1.
Where's that weird Gangly Langs Mario? Was that in Mario Maker 1?
That was in 1. That was in 1.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 had no costumes. 2 had no Gangly, other than in the baseball minigame. Is that a sentence? 2 had no Gangly.
Oh, it's in Mario Maker 1. You're right.
Yeah. All right, that's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Now who's kicked off the podcast?
Yeah.
Kia like slowly replacing all of us. Well, good luck to you. You don't have the domain, and next year you're gonna have to pay the $18.
No.
For allmyfriendsareRightHere.com.
I didn't factor in the $18. But no, I think that's everything here. I think it's time to end the show here. Yeah, Vince, I love you.
Love you too, bud.
Chris, I love you.
I, Chris Pratt, love you.
Thank you, Chris Pratt. And listener, we love you as well. We will see you next time. Bye.